people are just going to shit on you regardless.
How about everyone line up and suck it politely? Like, shut up. Oh, man. Welcome to the Oral Sessions with your girl, Renee Paquette, joined today by my buddy, Emilio Sparks. Dude, on this day, I see clearly. What a time. Yes,
oh my
right?
God.
Oh my God.
He did this. He did the metal hand signs
to
the
whole
sign.
Thing. And then we got like the pyro went off. We got all of the emotions, all of the feelings. I went to sing a song and I nearly choked on my own saliva. I don't recommend that.
Hey, listen, It's the road to WrestleMania, baby.
It's officially begun. Edge just punched his card to WrestleMania, the main event.
Yeah.
I will never get like that vernacular out of my head. I will always just be able to rattle off those catchphrases at any given moment. So this is my first time I've obviously done like recap shows for WWE, doing Talking Smack or any kind of like post-show scenarios, but this is like a different one where we just get to hang out and shoot the shit as pals and talk about some wrestling.
Right? I mean, we were doing it via text message and we were like, let's do it for a show.
Let's breathe a little life into it.
So is it different now that you're on the other side of the track, so to speak, a little bit, where you can just sit back and watch and just be an observer?
Yeah, because you know what? I mean, working a Rumble is so chaotic. Because I mean, you think back to last Royal Rumble, and we're in Houston, Texas, at what is it, AT&T Stadium?
AT&T Stadium, yeah.
We're out there, full packed house. Little did we know the world was about to be shut down. But I got to call my first Royal Rumble, and we could have Graves on at some point to have a discussion about this. But my biggest moment that I remember from my Rumble that I was at was when I couldn't spit out Zelina Vega's name. And I was like, zit, 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 zit. And I'm looking at Graves for like, please bail me out of this. I cannot talk right now. And he didn't know what I was trying to do. So he's just laughing at me. But anyways, yeah, very cool to be at a Royal Rumble. And it's, getting that feeling. I love not knowing anything. I love not knowing anything when I'm there, because I love if like someone's hidden in a room somewhere, they're hiding on a bus, and you don't really know who is going to show up at the Rumble. But to be able to sit at home, the thing that I don't love is some of the stuff that pops up on the internet of like, oh, we heard so-and-so's backstage or this and this. And I know that's going to happen, but it bums me out, especially when it's true.
Right. But most of the time it's not true. I mean, there was some scuttlebutt today that certain people were going to come back and they never really showed up to begin with. You know what I mean?
CM Punk wasn't there. What's his problem?
I don't have the heart to say this, but guys, I'm going to say it. He was on this show. He said, I am not coming back unless they offer me a truck full of money and an interesting storyline.
But you do have to keep in mind, they do have a truckload of money that they could have just backed up to his house. They got that Peacock money. I'm not denying the fact that they could have dropped off all that money to him. It could have happened.
Hey, listen, when they have a Billy to play around with, you could do whatever. But I think in Punk's case, I think the storyline trumps the money at this point.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I
think so, but I don't know. I mean, money always talks, right? People always say that, and not that I'm discrediting him with that. I do believe he legitimately holds on to that. But if somebody's going to offer you a butt ton of money, like, oh, I don't know, I could just go in there and put somebody over for a couple weeks and get out of there.
Speaking of Graves, can we talk about the turtleneck situation tonight?
Okay. What is your take on this? I mean, you are a man of many fashions. Look at you. You've got the hair down. You've got the glasses. You've got on the blue toque. You look like $1 million. Your take on the turtleneck with a blazer combo?
Oh, I think he dresses fantastic anyway.
He's a superb man. Yeah.
Handsome man. What a guy. Love Corey Graves.
He's one of those annoying people, just to like interject. Not that I want to sit here and put over Graves a bunch, but like being as close of friends as I am with him and as much time as I spent with him, he's one of those people that you're like, wow, you're really good looking. Like you like forget because you spend so much time with him. I'm like, oh, he's just like my buddy. I don't think like that. But there'd be times I'm like, you're very handsome. Good for you. Get after it. He's got like that chiseled face, pulls off the turtleneck. Not a lot of people can pull off that look. Make that very clear.
No, you have to have like a long torso and a decently slim neck to wear a turtleneck, and you have to have a really good head, because if you don't have a good head,
you have no jowl touching the turtleneck.
No, you can't have turkey neck.
Well, I mean, you could cover it with the turtleneck, which I think is the misconception of a turtleneck. People think that they can like tuck their
Right.
neck into it.
But you can still see like the side jowls stick out,
waves
and it's
out.
even more obvious because you have the
Yes.
turtleneck, which is up
Now
to
it's
here.
pushed up. It's like my dog wearing a collar. It's like,
Right.
listen, we know you're chubby. It's being pushed out.
You
Anyway,
have to be a slender man.
he
So
pulled it off.
he's a good looking guy.
I tweeted about it. You and I talked about it. It's a good look. I remember Christian actually used to wear that look sometimes on backstage, and it very much is a look of a villain in a Bond movie.
Very, very. Like you have to be like dignified and have some aura of mystique to pull that off.
You have to know certain like malts of liquors. You're only drinking top shelf. Certainly
Right.
dabble in cigars and or some kind of card games.
Oh, all of that. No, all of that just reeks of masculinity and brute.
Wait,
all of that.
but would he be wearing the Patrick Dempsey cologne?
It depends on how his body chemistry goes with that. So I think he would probably be a smoky, earthy kind of guy. He seems like he could wear a woodsy smell.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm just like mirroring what I wear, so I would assume. I worked with the man intimately for a year. I should have smelled him at one point and been like, "Hey, let me just get a quick whiff."
Let me get a whiff of you. Come here. Let's have a
Like, that
deep
wouldn't have
embrace
been
just for a quick second. No, it would have been fine. It would have been fine.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Enough about Corey Graves. We need to talk about what actually happened here at the Royal Rumble. Okay, so we talked about it very quickly moments ago. Edge won the entire thing. Bell to bell, that man went. Holy hell. Just outlasted all these other fellows, which was great. I love Edge. I'm so happy for the success. I mean, we had him come back at last year's Royal Rumble. That was one of those like, I can't think of a surprise quite as good as Edge returning as it was for last year. I mean, everyone thinks he's done with the neck injuries. He's been out, he's retired, really sad stuff, but he's overcome it. He's come back, but then he tears his tricep and was out for however long. So now for him to come back, I just assumed he was going to be going into a program with Randy, but no, he won the Rumble and now he gets to do whatever the hell he wants at WrestleMania.
Right. See, that's the thing that they do. They trick you. I thought we were going to get the greatest wrestling match part 2. I really thought that that's what we were going to get.
Yeah.
And, he became a 60-minute poppy now. So now he's in the club. So congratulations to Edge.
Yeah, good job.
But I honestly thought that it was going to be somebody new, you know what I mean? Or new into the context of, like, they haven't been in a mountain yet. They haven't worn the WWE championship. I thought it was going to be one of those guys.
Well, I thought it was going to be Daniel Bryan. You thought you went Shinsuke?
I went Nakamura, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And which would have been great, but he got out pretty quick, actually.
Which I'm kind of disappointed with.
I know.
They do this a lot, WWE, where they start to bubble like 8 guys and then the 8 go into the match and then that gets dwindled down to 4. And it's like normally, the guy that I picked is still in. Is he going to get into the final 4? Then that gets dwindled down. Then there's like 2. Then it's your guy that you picked that you believe that's going to win. And then the surefire, he's going to win guy. And that's like how they normally make it happen. And then
once this got down to the nitty gritty, though, once Bryan was out, then I was like, oh, is Seth going to win? Is Strowman going to win? Like, I did not think it was going to be Edge. I was truly holding on hope that it was going to be Christian. I knew that it wasn't going to go that way, but I was like, oh shit, maybe. What? I didn't know where that was going to go. And the fact that he was in there quite as long as he was, and he looked like $1 million. But obviously that's not where it went. But I actually verbally yelped when he got kicked out of the ring, unfortunately.
Right. I'm sitting with my brother and he's like, well, Seth is coming out now. So what do you think? And I go, could CrossFit Jesus go in, win the match, and then pick whoever he wants? And my brother was like, well, who would he go face? And I was like, being rather hug and, IWC internet-y, I would have been like, oh, well, the surefire bet is that he would go face Roman Reigns and it would be brother versus brother because they have this
early. We gotta let
connection.
We gotta let that ride out a little bit, right?
Yeah. Well, I like what Roman's doing, so just keep him champion as long as we can.
Because I feel like this is me just talking as like a fan of the product, that if and when it comes down to this brethren battle, I would like there to be a third man involved in that battle, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I smell what you're cooking. And I'm here. Like, you threw it, I caught it, and now I'm just keeping it.
I
Like,
want that peacock money.
Yeah, I bet you do.
You probably hear me outside. He's like, "Shut! What are you talking about?" That's my opinion, not his at all.
I'm not mad at it though. But
Yeah.
hey, listen, a girl can dream, you know.
I mean, I just think given the scenario, you know,
Right,
it's just
right.
it's scenario based. But in general though, what is your like? Do we do like a ranking system of this Rumble, or do you want to give like a rating out of like 10? I would like a rating out of 10 from you on this Rumble.
Okay, so in past Rumbles, you know, because
Mhm.
I went to the last few, does it rank up there with the ones that I went to? No. When
Sure.
I say that, was it bad? Absolutely not, because they told stories. Bianca won the Women's Royal Rumble, and
Yes.
I absolutely love Bianca. Her entire career, her chronicle was amazing to see. The obstacle course, the feud with Bailey,
Oh my
it's all
God.
been fantastic. So to see that makes me really happy to know that they're investing in their women's division, but they're also investing in unproven WWE superstars. Like, they're finally
Yes.
going to give the opportunity
They have
to
to.
somebody new. They have
They're in a
to.
situation they're back, and I don't want to say like their backs against a wall, but it's like, you know, if as we transition here to talking about the Women's Royal Rumble, is like there were no huge surprises really in the Women's Rumble. You know, I mean, even from the NXT brand, I mean, I like that Shotzi Blackheart got out there. I love seeing Toni Storm. I think she is a huge star. I think she's amazing. She's got a huge future. Um, we got Dakota Kai and then Rhea. Was that it?
Rhea Ripley, Santana Garrett.
And Santana Garrett, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, once it came down though, and we saw Rhea, Bianca, and then Charlotte, seeing the three of those women, and then when Charlotte got that boot, I was like, oh hell yeah. I mean, I think everyone kind of across the board unanimously was like, it's got to be Bianca. And I had not even thought of Rhea until I was doing backstage, and Booker T put Rhea in there just because she's not been on Raw and SmackDown and all that. But she's someone who should also be given the ball to run with.
Right. And it's cool to see because, you know, you have somebody like Charlotte Flair who's already established. She's honestly a veteran in the small time she's been in the business. She's a multi-time
She's
women's
amazing. It
champion.
actually like
She's
pisses me off when people shit on her, to be honest.
same. I think when you're that good and your last name is what it is, but you're proving yourself and you're matching the elk of your last name, people are just gonna shit on you regardless.
How about everyone line up and suck it politely? Like, shut up. She's like, when have you seen? I get that it's like that. I feel like people shit on her because she's just been rammed down people's throats and whatnot, but not for lack of doing her job or
No,
being great at what she does.
Yeah, she
She's
can
so
go.
good. Hell of a promo.
Oh, what a promo. But
Great
again, they
promo.
told a really interesting story because Flair comes down when Lacey comes out. She's wearing the robe. That ignites Charlotte. They start to feud. They roll out of the ring. They have this kerfuffle on the outside of the ring. They both get back in. Lacey gets eliminated. Charlotte goes on this tear. And you think, oh, well, they're going to give it to Charlotte Flair because she's the proven talent. And then once she
Yeah.
didn't and she was out, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Why? Because she plays such a great heel. I liked when she was all smiley face and let's celebrate. My dad's here. I'm a champion. I'm the best. But she's better when she's a bitch.
Because she's hateable because she's so damn good.
So good.
You can't even wrap your head around how good she is.
So to answer your question, I would give it a 6 out of a 10.
I think that's very fair.
Right? Just because we did get to see NXT formers in the Rumble. Again, you know, Damian Priest, you know.
Great showing.
Really good. And he came out with the big money gear too.
Yeah.
Good
gear,
good,
going toe to toe with Kane.
Shredded, just shredded. Speaking of which, you know who looks thick and jacked? Carlito came back looking.
What a beefy hunk.
Right?
Yeah. He did look
part of the
very
thick boy
good.
club now. He has to be.
Get him out there. Yeah, he looked really great. I mean, gosh, I mean, even just seeing like, I mean, our guy, Big E, obviously he was fantastic in there. I love the moment between him and Bobby Lashley as well. I mean, once those two kind of got into it, that was like some good heavy hitting stuff. And God, who else for the girls? You know who I really like that I'm excited for her getting more opportunities is Ruby Riott. I like her a lot.
Right.
She got such a cool
Yeah.
look. She grinds. I every time she comes out, I feel like every time I see her, I'm like, she looks really good. She's always like just like improving everything from like just like aesthetic to her look to like everything in the ring. I feel like she's great. And Liv Morgan as well with that ex Tina throwback of the Let's Get Dirty gear.
Dirty. Oh, I remember
Very
that.
good.
I was like, okay, girl, I see what you're doing. The fit is popping.
Yeah, I liked
Speaking of
it.
which, MVP of the women's match for me in the Royal Rumble, Billie Kay.
Oh yes, she's fantastic.
How good was Billie Kay? I didn't want her to wrestle the entire night.
She didn't have to, and that's like it's almost like in the way that like Santino Marella was of like just being so entertaining but like talented in the ring. I mean Santino especially, I mean he's really great, but yeah, somebody like Billie Kay, she doesn't have to get in the ring. There's so much value in her as a character, her with her headshots going out there, and just like the little nuances, as small as it is, to like her and Peyton Royce finally doing their like iconic stuff together. And then as she goes to do the iconic, and then Ruby's right there and she like instantly bailed out of doing it. But her timing on it was so funny that it like legit popped me, that I was like, oh, I totally fell for it. I think she's fantastic.
Right. And in terms of looking at professional wrestlers from an entertainment standpoint, because you got to do both. You can't just wrestle and not have any type of entertainment value. So to watch an individual like Billie Kay really come out and really turn it up, because now she is the singles competitor.
Yeah,
she is. You know, has she been having a lot of matches on television? No, but
she still has a lot of TV time.
And she's knowing what to do with it. So like you said, the subtle nuance, a move, a face, and a wince, and the excitement when like another wrestler comes out and she gets to show the resume. And originally I thought the resume thing was questionable. I was like, all right, this ain't gonna really get over. And then she really started to make it work, where she would take out the pen and add something different like each and every time. And the headshot constantly changes. So I thought it was.
And she's great on commentary too. She's very funny on commentary. She's a great addition there. Another person who I would like to just point out specifically for another minor detail is Bayley carving coal into her hair before the match. I died when I saw that on her Instagram. Like legit made me laugh. I love, like, she used to call me out all the time. She calls Cole out. She calls out like Kayla Braxton. Like she's just always talking shit to all the commentators, which I find hysterical. But yeah, very funny. Good touch.
And somebody else who I was just so worried about when they turned her heel was Bayley, because I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
She could definitely have the Rick Steamboat, career, and she could be a babyface her entire life, and she could be massively over, and people would never really tire of her because she's that good in the ring. But then she gets the bob. She copies Rizzy Paquette over here. She gets the bob.
Dude, I will never forget that day. We were in Las Vegas, at the arena here at T-Mobile, and we're in like the locker room, and Jackie Stakel, who does like hair and makeup for WWE, she's a good friend of mine, but she was in there, and they like ducked into one of the back rooms, and they're like, we're gonna cut the ponytail's coming off, and everyone was like, oh my God. Like people gathered around it like it was a curtain sellout. People were just like waiting to see what this haircut was going to look like, where the bob was going to evolve to. And I think it's great. I love that there's actually, like, between Bayley and now Mandy Rose, we've got a couple bobs happening in the ring. Right. And I like it.
But there's a big difference in the bobs, though. I think Bayley's bob is a little bit more daring, where she'll do the undercut, right?
She's always got that undercut. Yeah.
Right. Mandy's bob, like suburban housewife, where she goes and picks the kids up from soccer, and the orange slices are nicely cut and placed in a tray.
A little Stepford wifey.
Right. Which is fine. Listen, they're both equally beautiful women, so hair really doesn't matter. But I'm just saying,
but hair does matter. I mean, hair's important. Let's not. I mean, look at yourself. You know that hair is very important.
Speaking of change and fits and haircuts, can we talk about real quick the New Day's Brody Lee, Luke Harper commemorative?
I had it as a note on here for me.
Here, can we talk about that for a minute?
Beautiful. I loved it. As soon as Kofi, I will say as well, once Kofi jumped in the picture, I was like, oh, is Kofi cleared for this? Because Kofi in Royal Rumble, of course, is iconic. It's amazing. He's always a like outstanding performer. That did not happen. He's still not medically cleared, but him showing off Brody on his pants, and then Woods had it on his jacket. just a beautiful, beautiful tribute.
But
Love
it was
that.
but it was different versions
Yeah.
of Brody.
Yeah.
So the last version of Brody is on Kofi's tight, where it's him as the exalted
Ugh,
one, which to me I thought was really extra
really
special.
cool.
And it really brought a tear to my eye. You know, I loved him like a brother.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, it was a nice remembrance for somebody that was really excited to have an opportunity to be a singles competitor once again.
Yes.
And it
Yeah.
was like an iconic pose too, where he's like this and he's looking all like he's looking proud. His chest was all puffed out.
Yeah.
And then Big E had the side profile of when he was in his Wyatt family phrase.
Mm-hmm.
They had the flannel. They also mixed parts of the Dark Order gear into it with the color scheme of like gray and black. Whoever designs their gear, chef's kiss.
They're just so
really,
thoughtful.
really
They're so thoughtful in their gear. I mean, we had Big E on the show and just him talking about, how he thinks about the different names that he wants to put on his gear, who he wants to draw attention to, who might make somebody want to Google who that person is and then find out about their story. I think it's a cool way to just commemorate people, but also, to pay homage to somebody or to acknowledge somebody in any capacity. But the way that they did it with Brody's on their gear tonight was really such a cool touch. I loved that.
Okay.
You know what I like is those 8K cameras. Do you like those for the entrances?
I do. I think they're really nifty. I think it adds like
Nifty.
something fun to it too.
Good
yeah,
word.
I was thinking of bringing it back.
Nifty. I like
Nifty.
it. Yeah.
I like nifty. Yeah, I like different aspects of like the visual experience because we're all home watching this.
Yeah. It really feels video gamey. I really noticed it when Rhea came out for her entrance. I was like, oh shit, she looks cool as all hell. And then I started like really honing in on it. But I don't think I've seen someone look bad in that, where I feel like even when like TV started being like, we're shooting everything in HD, and women were like, no, thank you. Because it like changes your makeup. You see everything really up close. It can be like very unflattering, where this makes everybody look like $1 million. I want to be, can we shoot this in 8K? What's going on? What happened to our budget?
We're going to have to ask James that because I want the Instagram filter all the time on us.
Yes, me too.
I want to look pretty and angelic. Like, I think we deserve that. I mean, you're glowing because you're having the good child, but I don't know if I'm glowing. I mean, I could try to whiz off as much of your glow juice, but I don't think it's really going to work. So I think an Instagram filter would be
I'm not whizzing my
cool.
glow juice anywhere. Let me tell you that. I will say though, the light that you have in the background right now, that's giving you a very nice aura, if you will.
Thank you. I thought it was the toque that was really like bringing it all together.
It really ties it all together quite well. But no, those 8K cameras look really, really cool. Big fan. I would love for us to get something like that here to shoot me in my home, in my spare bedroom right now, in front of my ring light. I'm sure it would look exactly the same.
Absolutely.
It would be great. Okay, so Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Universal Championship, last man standing match. These two beat the hell out of each other. That spot off of the forklift through the table onto Roman Reigns and his brand new teeth was very scary.
I was nervous for the teeth the entire time because during like SummerSlam, the teeth were the most talked about thing since the return. Like,
how much do you think those cost?
I Googled because I wanted Roman teeth.
Did you Google it?
Yeah, I wanted Roman teeth at one point, and I'm a
Who
man
doesn't?
of meager means. Yeah. I think it's like $5,000 to $6,000 a tooth.
A tooth?
And you're only doing, and this is the funny thing, they're only doing the first ones you could see, so you're only getting 6 on the top and 6 on the bottom.
Wow. See, I was like joking when I was watching that. I was sitting watching it with John. I was like, well, there goes 20K. That was
easy.
It was underestimated.
It's easily, like, because they have to, what they do is, unless they're going to do where they cover your original tooth,
a cap.
It will, what they do is they will whittle them down to like these little points.
With fangs.
So you get fangy mouth, and then they jam the new grill piece up into your mouth.
Oh God, that's gotta really be painful. I actually, I went with Natalia. She got her teeth knocked in at a house show here in Vegas, and I went with her to like a 24-hour dentist. So I got to see how they do it, and it is, yeah, it's
Gnarly.
it's a hell of a job.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
it's a
I can
little
do it.
scary.
I looked at the
No,
price and I winced, but I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe if I ever hit the lotto, totally. But
I've thought about doing it a bunch, but anytime I mention it, John's like, absolutely not. I actually remember Naomi. I remember saying it to her one time. She was like, "Do not. You can't do it. No way," because she thought that it would like look weird on me or something. I don't know.
well, you have a nice smile. That's one, so you shouldn't
It's
do it.
just okay.
John's right.
It's just okay. But there's nothing better than like that crisp, fully clean, like very nice white teeth. Mine are like, I don't know. I've had them for 35 years. I'm bored of them. I want to upgrade.
Yeah, me too. I don't like the way I smile. It kind of looks like
Oh.
like it's like forced. Even though I'm a very happy person, I don't smile. So it's kind of like you'll see me get like one of these. It doesn't look right. It looks like I'm
I
sinister.
don't smile with my teeth like ever. I don't like it. Even actually on the graphic or our graphic image for this show, because that was actually an image from my cookbook, which you guys can buy right now. It's on pre-sale on Amazon. And my teeth looked weirdly crooked in it because they are. My front teeth are like they're just slightly crooked. That I notice it. It's like mostly in photos. I don't notice it on camera that much, but I notice it in photos, and it drives me bonkers.
On my dating profile, you'll never see me smile with my teeth because I think like you, I think I kind of have like a snaggle tooth somewhere, and then I don't do it. So you'll just see I like resting bitch face the entire time. Like so it just adds an aura. I'm like, all right, good.
That's good for wrinkles at least. Just keep everything stoic and nothing can move.
Right. And a good nighttime routine as well.
Oh my God,
Definitely.
of course. Give me a good oil and like an eye
Toner.
cream. Jeez. Come on, throw me a
Real
bone. But yeah, that match was I thought it was a good match. I really liked it. The last man standing match. I thought that, they took it all over the arena to also, it was kind of cool to be reminded that they are in like a stadium setting. You kind of forget when you're inside the Thunderdome of just exactly what the setting looks like. It was nice to kind of get a little lay of the land that way.
Right. And because there was nobody in the stadium, you could really go above and beyond in terms of different camera shots and cinematography. So the handcuff spot to me was one of the more clever spots because you can really film it in a different way where you don't have to worry about shooting around your audience. Now you can get in close, you can pull away, you can show more of the reactions of like each of the performers' faces. You could see what the referee's doing in a far shot. And then when they had trouble to add to the climax of is Paul Heyman.
I thought Heyman was not going to get it. I was like, oh, Heyman's fumbling with this big time. That's a lot of pressure. I was like feeling for him. I was like, oh God, if that was me, I'd totally be panicking right now that like my hands like would not be able to unlock those handcuffs.
I would have threw the key to Oos and I would have been like, you're on your own, brother. Here you go. Like you
Can I tell you the legit anxiety that I get when people get handcuffed in matches? I'm incredibly claustrophobic. And this is like, in the last couple years, I've become claustrophobic. I've not always been like that. So it's like on my mind all the time now. And it freaks me out when I see someone get like handcuffed to something. So I'm like, what if they got stuck? Like they did that last week on Dynamite with Luchasaurus. Yep. They handcuffed him to the ropes. And I was like, oh, I would not enjoy that at all. Like, I think I would have a panic attack.
If I can't move my limbs around and then run or fight or flight,
no,
just destroy me. It's over.
It's freaking me out to think about it right now. Like it really puts me into a doozy. Very scary stuff.
I would think to myself, could I pull off the Mel Gibson Lethal Weapon 2 shoulder separation trick to slide my hands and get them in front of me?
In front. I've thought about that too. If I'm
like this from the back. Yeah.
Oh my God.
If I'm handcuffed from the back, am I doing the Martin Riggs shoulder like dislocation and slide underneath? And then I have my hand in front of myself.
Like if I had to be handcuffed and be put in the back of a cop car, I'd have to be sedated. Like I don't think I could handle it. I can't. Renee. I don't like taking the elevator. Have that happened to you? Oh my God, you felon!
I'm shaking my head. Yes.
You felon! Can you tell us what happened?
Listen, when the streets call, you answer.
What happened on Staten Island? Did Method Man need you?
No, you're young.
It was Method Man's album you helped with, right?
It was Ghostface, but yeah.
Ghostface.
I'll put any of the woo I got you. I'll turn it up in
Who
here.
wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Oh my God, are you kidding me? If the woo called me, I'd be like, fine, do it. But just like, please sedate me. In the back,
No, you'll be
in the cop car.
fine.
I don't
You would
know.
be fine. You would be fine. You're
I
still
don't
sitting
like-
in the back of a car. The only difference is like that protective bulletproof glass. That's really
That's
it.
the problem. That is where my problem lies. And you can't
You
open
sat
the
in the
door.
back of a cab.
I don't like
sat in
to
the back
anymore.
Of a New York City cab.
I don't like it.
Well, you're bougie now. You don't have to. You live in Vegas. You're good.
So you know what's funny? So John and I, we were out in LA this past week, and the hotel we were staying in, it's only 3 flights of stairs. So me being a fucking mental person, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna take the stairs every time we go up and down. We had the dogs with us. Keep that in mind. So the dogs, especially a big fat bulldog, he's like, I'm not taking the stairs. So John and I would go separate. John would take them down in the elevator, and I would take the stairs up and down. Every like 5th time, I'd go, okay, I'm gonna get in the elevator. But this asshole, we're in it, and he goes, imagine we got stuck in here. Piece of shit. I literally, like, I got very serious. I was like, that is not funny. That is not funny, and do not bring that energy towards me. I've been locked in an elevator before, and I think that might be what has triggered all of this.
Right. Well, that's my mother's fear. And she is just this stone cold woman, like nothing. She does not get rattled easily. But I remember when we were younger and we would go on vacation, and if we would go into a hotel, there would be no way that my mother would take the stairs ever. I mean, there would be no way that my mother would take the elevator ever. It was always the stairs. Like even now, like she refuses. If I take her to a doctor's appointment, she's walking up like 25 flights of stairs. She don't care.
Oh my
no elevator.
gosh.
This ain't going away. This is stuck with you.
When I went to Wrestle Kingdom with John last year, and we stayed at the Tokyo Dome Hotel, and I can't remember what floor we stayed on. Like, they are high rise buildings.
It is.
And they sway, they get earthquakes there, like all sorts of very bad scenarios. But I was okay. The elevator one kind of kicked in later though. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, I'm not getting in an elevator ever again. But I got stuck in one.
Yeah.
But I was just gonna say I got stuck in one last summer. I was in Toronto, and I was actually with Santino Marella and like 10 other adults. Went down one level and got stuck. And we were in there for about 30 minutes, dead of summer. It was horrible. I can't even think about it. Oh my God.
Were you hyperventilating and having trouble breathing?
No, you know what? I kept it as cool as possible. And this is what really sucked, is it? Because I was like, oh, I'm with Santino. Santino's the best. He'll laugh us out of this scenario. It'll be fine. But he started to panic, and I was like, fuck. So it made me have to be the one to pull my shit together, which was probably better. Maybe. I don't know, man. It's a fine line. Hang on by a thread.
It's a thing, and that's okay. You know, now you don't have a fear of heights, because when Kevin Owens jumped off the scaffold.
Oh, is this you trying to bring us back to the show? Is what we're actually supposed to be talking about?
No, I just wanted to know, because I have a fear of climbing up high, right? So if we were back in the arena or in any place, and they were like doing something, and some of the boys, they're gonna want to try to get you to do anything up there.
Sure.
And I would be petrified. So I would avoid any time they would be doing something like rehearsing, and then like other wrestlers would be jumping off the shit just to do it, to say that they did it.
Yeah.
I would go into another way. Like, have you ever jumped off anything high when you were in the arena?
No, never. That was never something that was thrown my way. But keep in mind, I'm usually in like dress clothes and like high heels. Also, they would never even think that to ask me to do something like that. But I would think I would give that a try. Maybe. Right. I don't know. Because John's talked to me about that before, from doing like cage matches or whatever. He's like, yeah, you don't rehearse that during the day, because then it gets in your head. He would never rehearse that. Because I remember when him and Seth did Hell in a Cell, and I remember being very nervous for that, because I knew they were going to battle on top of the cage. And that made me very nervous of like a misstep, or like, like the Mick Foley fall through the cage. Like, that stuff is terrifying to think about. That it totally freaks me out. But I Booker T would always tell me when he did a cage match and had to jump off the top, and he's like, I jumped off that thing like molasses. he just like slinked off the side. He's like, there's no way I was jumping off. He didn't realize how scared it was going to make him.
What did you think of Bad Bunny's jump off the ropes?
Oh, he bit it. I thought he was going to eat shit. Oh my God. I would say that it was like slightly better than Snoop Dogg's.
It's just as bad though.
But it was bad. I mean, kudos to him for going out there and give it a try, because it popped in my head. I was like, why is Miz like attacking this DJ booth? And I was like, oh, right, the Bad Bunny spot. But yeah, when he slipped, that slip off that top rope is very scary. Anytime you see that, like, ooh.
Too. And he was wearing Yeezys too. They have no real grip. If you've ever worn those shoes don't have a solid grip.
He was like walking out, like selling his ribs or something. And I was like, oh, I wonder if he like legit like popped something. Because he would, like, if you're falling like that off the top rope and you slip, like, you know, your whole body's going to just like contort all weird.
See, I thought when he landed, he hurt his groin because he held that for a second. And then he started holding his ribs. And I'm like, oh, this dude is really messed up.
Yeah, I thought he might have been injured too. Also, how about Carmella's dive spot in her match with Sasha when she dove, and it looked like she bit it hard too. She bounced back though, so I mean, she's good, and she was also back in the Rumble after that. But like, damn, scared me.
It's just, you know, you're not supposed to be a projectile, right? And then you're doing these topes out of the ring, right? And like, I would always be nervous for wrestlers that I never really see do the topes outside of the ring, because it's like you can't really judge, and if you bite it, it's just your face on concrete.
Yeah.
And if you look, she hit her
she
face
did
slammed.
Yeah,
and
she
I
hit
felt
it
so
hard.
bad. I was like, I thought she was like, oh, she broke her nose.
I know. I thought she was gonna be hurt too. She rebounded though. That looked a little bit scary. Okay, so Sasha retained there, and then Drew McIntyre also retained the WWE Championship. Thank God, right? Could you imagine a situation where he didn't?
Oh, the internet would have lost itself. It would have been just riots and just hate, tons of hate, more hate than usual. It would have been.
It would, but honestly, it would have been warranted. Like, I would be with them. I agree with them.
Well, you didn't like his jiu-jitsu shorts, Goldberg?
No, I am not interested. I'm not interested in this. I don't need it in my life. Absolutely not. But I was glad to see that, you know, one and done. They kind of hit all of their spots, played all the hits, got out of there. It was a good way to start the show, I thought.
I think it would. With shows like that, with big pay-per-views on the big four, I don't mind having a title match starting off a show, specifically something like that. Like, yes, they had a build up. Drew had COVID-19, so he was out for 2 weeks, so they really couldn't build it the way they wanted to, but they did have a war of words via social media and on television, which was totally fine. And it also helps Drew because Drew has been on this run since Royal Rumble of last year, where he really has become the guy, and he really has just elevated to a top position, but also has carried himself as a top guy with ease. But he's also just a certifiable shit kicker, which I think is really fun to see, because it's very rare that you get to see a dominant champion that's going to come out each and every week and put the title up, because Drew was doing that for a while, and they were running through contenders left and right. Boom, boom, boom. They were firing them off. So now you're getting longer storylines. Would I like to see Drew and Goldberg again?
Nice. It's nice. I think that we underestimate people's attention spans, and it's nice.
Absolutely.
I love a longer storyline. I think it's great because then you get that payoff. It's so much better, especially somebody like Drew, who's been around for so long. He's come and he's gone. He's had these opportunities, but it's not been the right timing. But to see where he's at now, and you know, I'll say I sat down and did an interview with him for Backstage last Monday, and I've not been in a situation like that with him in a little bit. I mean, even when I was there, I wasn't on Raw, so I didn't really see him there. But he's really like rose to the occasion of being that top guy. It blew my mind. I literally said it to like the rest of the crew at Fox, because I was like, man, like he's really just like, he just owns it. He fills that space. Like he fully owns the room in that way. You can just tell he's so ready to be that guy and like not ready to let that go anytime soon.
No, and I love the interview with you and him because yeah, he comes off real proper and debonair, but also at the same time too, you know that there's this attachment of anger and there's still a chip on
Mhm.
his shoulder that he has to prove himself. Like he said with you, Drew McIntyre's the future. Drew
Thanks for
McIntyre's the future.
watching.
Oh, come
My
on, man. What friend
guy.
would I be if I didn't? You know what I mean? But he said Drew McIntyre was the future, but at one point it's going to become Drew McIntyre was the past, and I would never
Yeah.
have gotten there.
Yep.
So to see like he really fulfilled the prophecy many, many years ago that was like bestowed upon him just goes to show like you can go, you can come back and you can have a second shot at anything in this world. And he's the perfect example of that. So it's
He's a
like to see
perfect,
him.
yeah, the perfect example of like taking that time and learning from it. Because so many people could have been like, they leave WWE and they get bummed out, or they kind of give up, or they become just disgruntled, which is like, God, that's worst case scenario. People
Yeah.
just get mad about it. But it's like he turned that into being like, no, I'm still like a bad motherfucker. I've got something to prove. For him to come back though, he is one person I will say, like when I did commentary, he was one of the only people that every single week would come up to me to tell me about his match, about what information he wanted in on commentary. Like not even just to me, but like to all the commentators. Like he really took care of every aspect of who he was in the ring. And it's really impressive to see that. What a guy. We should have him on the show.
Could we do that? Could we get him on?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not, right?
I mean, we might know somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I know him.
Boom, there you go. show just wrote itself. Show just wrote itself.
It's there. Yeah, we should have him on the show. I just think like he actually really does have like a fascinating story. And as much as we get those like WWE Chronicles and whatnot, let's get into the minutia with that guy. Another, who else I really want to book on this show is Christian. We've touched on the fact that he re-debuted here in WWE, but we need to make a really big deal out of this because it's huge. He's not wrestled in 7 years, out with like chronic concussions, thinking that he wasn't going to be cleared. And lo and behold, there he is. Peep show, baby.
And he's just coming out and he's hitting his finisher left and right.
He's
looking
great.
svelte. He's got the abs popping, new gear. I mean, he's just, you want to talk about what a guy. What a guy Christian is. Then I thought we were going to get the 5 seconds for a photo op and Matt Riddle was going to be there and go, bro.
Oh, that actually would have been really funny. You should be on the creative team. That would have been great.
One day. But I thought that was cool because it was this cool moment. And would it have been a thunderous ovation if we were able to do this with a crowd? Absolutely. Sure. 100%. But I think it was a little bit more special because now you really have to watch, right? You really got to pay attention, where now the audience is not part of the show now. Now your peepers are just sitting on the television watching every little thing. So you can just see he walks out, he has a smile from ear to ear, right? Even when he's doing the thing like this and he's looking at the like
warms my heart.
And just to know what he's went through personally with all the concussions and retiring really early when he didn't want to and he was still in his prime.
I don't even feel like everyone like fully knows his whole story either, because I don't feel like it was ever all that well documented. And yeah, I mean, I would love to have him on to pick his brain just about what he's gone through over the past 7 years, what he's gone through to be where he's at now. It's I mean, you look at guys like I tweeted about it. It's like, man, I can't believe that it's 2021 and right now we're seeing Edge, Christian, and Daniel Bryan all in the ring together. 3 guys that we thought were done.
It to me, because there's so much of the mind that we don't know in terms of just CTE protocol and CAT scans and, lesions on the brain or whatever the case may be. Even my noodle's been rocked a couple of times when I was doing Muay Thai back in the day. So like, you really don't know like what really happens. And you get really nervous about that. And
of course, it's so fragile.
When you're getting 3 or 4 different, reviews from different doctors and you're getting all these different opinions, you don't know what's up or what's down. And the fact that now, after all this time doing the thing that you wanted to do and there was no other option for you and you sacrificed so much and you put your body through so much for so many years, and then it gets cut short from you and then you got to retire. And then you get to come back and you get to come back at the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble comebacks to me have a certain cachet.
Absolutely they do. Absolutely. Especially, you know, the fact that it is the pay-per-view that leads into us getting into WrestleMania, which is the whole purpose for everybody and, you know, wrestling, especially obviously in WWE. But like, yeah, you come back at Royal Rumble and have a showing like he was able to have too. It's like, I'm not sure what his deal is going to be, but the fact that he was in there and lasted as long as he did, like, is he back? Was it a one-time deal? Like what, we don't know what that even means. I guess we'll have to wait to see like what the follow-up is for him. I have no idea.
Here's what we got in the year of our Lord 2021. Edge, Christian, and Kane. And Kane comes out and chokeslams Edge in 2021 in the Royal Rumble.
Isn't that crazy?
My God.
The mayor
of, what is it, Knox, Tennessee?
Knoxville, Tennessee, baby. Yeah. Can you imagine being like the people of Knoxville, Tennessee, being like, there goes our mayor, just choke slamming bitches. It's great.
Somebody wants a new stop sign. Well, you got to wrestle Kane to get that put in the town square.
Get the tables. It's happening.
Do you think he wears the whole like regalia when he goes and does his town meetings?
I really wish that was the case, but I feel like Glenn just puts on, I feel like he's probably in like a lot of gray suits.
Right. That's definitely his color.
I think just like he's just giving you what he's got. He's just straight and narrow Glenn out there, just abiding by the laws, creating laws. I don't really know what a mayor does, but he's mayoring to the max.
Can we run for mayor or something? Isn't there like a small town in like Vegas that we can run for mayor?
I cannot because I'm not a citizen yet, but once I am, everyone hold on to your asses because then I will. Roll
time. That's it. You already know how to write speeches. Yeah. You're good.
Oh, I don't know about that. I can perform the speech.
Well, John is an eloquent author himself, so he can write you a speech.
That's true.
And I just want to call him the first gentleman.
I think I would just like to be his first lady. I think he would be a better mayor than me. I'm a little too emotional. But I could be like his right-hand woman. I'd bring the snacks. Did I just like I just undersold myself, right?
Yeah, you did. You just undone a whole bunch of women's rights in about 2 seconds.
It's because I don't really want to do I don't want to do that specific job. I was like, hell yeah, I'll be the mayor. And I was like, actually, I would hate to be the mayor.
All right.
I'm not interested in that. I just want like the mayoral gossip so I could get that from John if he was that.
All right. All right. Pantsuits and snacks it is.
Is there anything that we missed from talking about the old Rumble of Royals?
Let's see. Rumble of Royals. Drew retained. So you pretty much were a crystal ball tonight. You were spot on, so you were good.
Except for Brian. I didn't get Brian, but I had Brian for Rumble.
But I mean, you hit everything else.
Yeah.
I stunk. That was all right.
You reeked the joint up. What a loser.
I did. I'm so sorry. I am a big loser right now. Did that. Okay. Bianca. Everybody.
She went over. She was in there for a long, but Bianca came out third. Shit.
Right.
Good for her. Both Rumble winners, man. Like in it from those single digits.
That's it. And they all point to the sign.
Yep. Cardio. Oh, you know what I wanted to say is for Bianca. I texted with you about this, but I love that her promo after winning was just like a legit heartfelt promo. It didn't feel wrestling. It just felt like she was like, hell yeah, finally here I go. She's gotten that like strap it on. We're ready to go. Push her to the moon. Absolutely.
There are these moments that, and I won't share them, but there are these moments that when you're backstage and you see and you get to see the person in like their human form, quote unquote. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where they're not in the gimmick and they're not warming up or whatever. And it's just a quick moment. And you know, I had a conversation with her. I had a conversation with Tez, and it was a really organic, beautiful conversation about life, about love, and just doing what you love to do. And I was so happy when she was able to win tonight and say what she said, because it came from the gagung. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it came from here, from the heart. And to me, that, like you said, all natural, not wrestling. I think that's the important thing, where they're not coming out and handing you like a piece of paper, say, okay, you got to say this. No, we're going to let you live the moment. We're going to let you take it all in and say what you want to say. I thought it was great.
It's nice because even if it's not this like cohesive, like, oh, I'm saying the lines and like, you know, she didn't call out like, oh, I want whoever at Mania, however she wants to do that. It was just like, be in that moment, enjoy it, say a real thing. Cause I think like, tonight I watched it just as a fan, and it does make a big difference rather than like feeling like someone's just reciting their lines. To let someone like really have that moment. It is a big moment. As much as we can like look at wrestling and be like, oh, we can, fine tooth comb, nitpick things, but like these people are working so hard, and those are legit moments, to win Royal Rumble and be like the chosen person to be moving on, to have the company have faith in you at that level is really important. So I think it's cool to let someone just be a human in that moment and react how they would.
Congratulations.
What she's the best.
Give her a little
like you said, she's like one of those people, like when I would see her backstage, like I don't know Bianca all that well, but I just really wanted to be friends with her. But
yeah, she's very
she's
sweet.
just cool. Like you can just tell she's cool, she's smart, like she seems like such a no bullshit person. And I really appreciate that about her. Yeah, very good stuff. And also we got new women's tag champs tonight, just to put a button in this.
I mean, your bestie. I mean, you could have been besties if you didn't leave.
I know.
You and Shayna.
I know.
So it was just right on the button.
I know.
I mean, you want to talk about new tag team champions, but then she gets double crossed and she gets thrown out by her tag team partner.
Yeah,
the streets are dirty, Renee.
A mile away. The streets are dirty.
You can't trust the streets.
Nia's always in it to win it. They're a bit of a weird mishmash tag team, anyways. So. Yeah. It is what it is, but congratulations to them. It was a fun night. I enjoyed watching it. I agree with your like 6 out of 10. Listen, we're in a weird pandemic still. We don't have crowds there. Having a crowd there for Royal Rumble is like, come on, you need it. But without having it, I feel like things moved along as well as they could. Some stories got told, and now we'll see what happens on Monday Night Raw.
That's it.
I'm pissed that Samoa Joe didn't get in the Rumble though. What a coward.
I'm pissed that he cut his hair.
Yeah, well, he at least donated it. I'll give him that.
That was cool, but he had such nice locks, and he kept like I loved how he would gratefully each time. So I was like, "Ooh, are we gonna get a different braid?" And
I know.
Then he cuts it off.
Well, I feel like both you and him are very follically gifted. So I feel like that hair could grow back at any given moment. But I really was, because somebody asked me like, "Oh, what would be like a cool like out of left field win Rumble?" And I was like, "Oh shit, what if Joe went in?" Joe's somebody that I just like, I can't believe he was not WWE champion. I can't believe it. How and why?
It's something that I question a lot too. I mean, he's just one of those dudes that are so intense, and you believe that he's a scary man and he's going to choke you out.
Yes.
When you want to talk about when somebody turns it on and they get full immersed into their gimmick right before they come out in the curtain.
It's fucking
that's Samoa Joe.
Yes. I love Joe. Like, I love him so much as a person. But when I see him switch into Samoa Joe, I'm like, never mind. I'll see you later. Bye. Like, I want nothing to do with that. He's terrifying. Like, terrifying man.
Yeah, I'll wait.
I'll wait. You tell me when you're good, but I'll wait.
Yeah, let me know. And I literally, I've seen him do that. Like, I was like there. I'd see him. I'd walk the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he did that to me sometimes in backstage interviews. And I'm like, okay, I'm like sweating now.
I gotta go. Go.
Well, this was fun. This was like a fun little recap. And hey, our first episode on Volume, dude.
Woo, what a debut. What a debut.
It's interesting to like debut with a show like this, but it just kind of worked out that we're like, hey, Royal Rumble's on Sunday. Let's do this. Let's get this party started and do a little recap video or podcast, whatever we're doing right now. We're doing a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. But yeah, this is going to be really fun. I'm really excited for this little venture for us. It's going to be good for us. It's good for us.
Oh, do you want to tell them who's the guest this coming week?
Oh my God, you guys ready? I did tweet about this, but in case you missed that and didn't see it, it is going to be the UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Stipe Miocic, who is getting ready to do battle at UFC 260 with one Francis Ngannou. He was a blast to have on the show. Great guy. That episode will be dropping for you guys on Thursday. And yeah, we're just going to keep cranking out some episodes for you. Tons of content, all happening here on the Oral Sessions. And the main thing that I want to just keep doing with the show is like, as much as we're here talking about wrestling, we're talking WWE, we're talking AEW, we're talking all things wrestling, talking things UFC. but we can dabble into some other sports and bring on some athletes. I want this to be like a great platform for athletes to be able to come on and tell their story and have a little chit chat and tell us a little bit more about themselves if they're not always given the opportunity to do so. And yeah, I'm like really looking forward to where our show's going to go, where it's going to expand, and what kind of guests we're going to be able to have.
That's it. So just text Renee. So just tweet
Renee.
No,
you know what? Actually, just
Renee.
text me. That would be great.
Here's the number.
Text me and book me some guests. And at some point, it would be really nice to really branch out and have on somebody that could help me really break down my claustrophobia.
Ooh. Oh, that's what we're doing. We're going to find a therapist.
That's an episode you would like, right?
Okay, yeah, I would like to break down some of my neuroses too. Let's do it.
So we'll be doing it all here. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. This was our little recap of Royal Rumble 2021. We're officially on the road to WrestleMania, baby.
Point to the sign.
Now point to the pillow.